Hi, this is going to be a quick talk about capos and why to use them and how to use them. Many years ago when I was in high school, I thought capos were for people who couldn't play guitar and that they just made guitar easier to play for beginners. I was wrong, and as I went into college, I used capos a few times, and then about 25 years ago, I started playing with a guy that used capos all the time. And so I got myself two different capos. I got myself a shub because I saw George Harrison playing with one kind of like this. So I was like, well, I'll get something that looks like George Harrison's. And then I got a Kaiser, and I don't have that. I have this other clamp. Kaiser is also a clamp. I can't find mine. It's somewhere around here. The first capo I had was this one. This was my father's capo. And this was strapped to a Fender Tweed, little Fender Tweed amp. And so this was the first capo I used, and it goes around and it clips on, and you tighten the screw. This is a good capo, but it's inconvenient to use on a gig. There's a lot of adjustments that you have to do. This clamp one is what I use at school when I'm teaching music, and I just clip it onto the end of my acoustic. You know, it just kind of clips on to the end, and I can just pull it off, put it on, and I'm ready to go. I find sometimes this puts it a little out of tune. It's the clamp is really tight, especially on some necks. If the neck's a little bit thicker, this clamp is really tight and it pulls the strings out of tune. The shub you can adjust, and you can adjust this screw to the to your neck and get it to where it clips on just very nicely and usually plays in tune. If it's a little bit out, if you just pull on your strings a little bit, if it's a little sharp, just pull on your strings a little bit, and it usually go right into tune. So, why use a capo? Well, there's many times where you might want a certain voicing or playing along with a recording. Maybe the recording is in B flat. Well, B flat's not a really friendly guitar key, so we would use a capo, and maybe we would put it on the first fret and play an A, like A shapes, or we'd put it on the third fret and play G shapes. And then this G chord is a B flat because we've moved up 3 frets. So from G, G sharp, A sharp, or B flat. It's the same in harmonic. So that's one way you would use a capo, to play along with other people that are in different keys, and they aren't guitar friendly keys. Like maybe it's an E flat. E flat, I can capo on the 3rd fret and play in C. You know, a lot like a. So that brings me to my other reason why you would use a capo. With a capo, it allows you to sing in different keys that are probably more friendly to sing in. So, like with I'll Fly Away, some glad morning when this in the key of C, I can't sing this very well because it goes, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. It's kind of low. I play this in the key of E. So I put a capo on 4. Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. And that sounds better to me singing in that key. Not that I'm a good singer, but it allows my voice to sound better playing in a key that is friendly on a guitar. And finger picking the way I want to finger pick. I can't finger pick I'll Fly Away in the key of E very well, playing in open E. But in C, that's kind of the way that I've learned it, so that works. Other songs that you have trouble singing in that key, so you have to change the key that you're playing in to suit your voice. Or many times, if I'm playing with a female singer, I've always played a song, let's say in E, and she can't sing it in E. She has, well, I have to do that in G. Well, now instead of my brain going, okay, E to G, that's what's really not that hard. I could probably do that in my head and just play in G. But if I have certain licks that I do in E, if I have got a certain pattern that I like to play, then all I have to do is put my capo on 3, and I can play my E shape, my A shape, my B7 shape, whatever chords are in that song, and I can play without having to think too hard about what chords are coming next. I can play it the way that I know it and play the licks that I know, but now I'm in a different key and she can sing it. So that's a huge blessing to be able to just change keys like that. Another great thing to do with capos. At church, there are 2 guitar players. Some weeks we use 2 guitar players, and Tim is the other guitar player. If I'm playing in G, just open G, he'll put a capo on, and let's say he'll put a capo on 5, and he'll play in the key of D using D shapes, but this is now a G chord. So he'll play in the same key, but capoed, so his voicings are all very different. His G chord sounds like this, and my G chord sounds like this. So our 2 guitars will sound different. We'll be using different voicings. Even though we're playing in the same key, I'm thinking G shape, he's thinking the D shape. And because of that, our chords are going to mesh together really well and make the song sound bigger, instead of us both playing the exact same G chord and the exact same D chord. It also gives us different little licks that we can add in. Sometimes there's this, the all that D stuff that you can do. Well, in G, right, I can do that, but he might add all that little fancy stuff, and I'll just be strumming. And because we're in 2 different voicings, our guitars sound different and kind of offers a wider breadth to the song. So, those are some reasons to use a capo. I'm sure there's plenty of others that I have left out. If you have any questions about capos, let me know. This is the main capo that I use. On gigs, the main problem with this capo is I have to make sure that this goes back in my pocket. I usually put it in my pocket, or if I'm wearing a shirt like this, I'll put it up here, so I always have it. It's not really good, it's not an easy one just to clamp onto the end of your guitar like the Kaiser or the other one that I have. Sometimes I'll put it on a stand, or I'll set it down on my amp, and then I end up losing it. So you almost always make sure that this goes back in my pocket. I have 3 of these, and I carry them in different cases. So if you have any questions about capos, let me know, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.